In the story of Dragon Ball, Frieza was perhaps the most feared and threatening villain to face our heroes, bringing them to the very brink. However, along the way, Frieza made some pretty poor decisions. So today, Geeklist TV and I discuss the 5 times Frieza messed up in Dragon Ball. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel to stay up to date on all upcoming videos in the future. Alright guys, so today we're breaking down 5 times Frieza messed up in the Dragon Ball franchise, and the person I was just mentioning is going to be joining me today, and his name is...
What's up? Thank you for having me back on the channel, Mike. It's MJ from Geeklist TV.
Yeah, and of course Geeklist makes a lot of really good content, so after this video is over, make sure to go over to his channel, check it out, and probably give him a subscribe because you like content like this. I'm sure you're going to like his channel as well. So MJ, let's go from the 5th entry, or the first one we're going to be talking about today on this list, as how Frieza messed up, and why don't you take it from there?
Now, talking about the first entry on this list is Frieza not training his golden form. In the ROF arc, we saw Frieza make a comeback as he went at it with our heroes, but before taking it to Goku and Vegeta and the others, he trained for about 4 months with Tagoma, or in the movie by himself. Now, in both adaptations, he suffered from, I guess, loss of stamina. The form drained his energy. He could not keep that form for too long, and it became his downfall because he had that fight in the bag, especially in the ROF arc where he was actually kicking Goku around like a rag doll. But look what happened. He didn't train his form, his energy dropped, and Goku eventually won the fight.
Yeah, as Goku told to Frieza, basically the weakness with his form is that he just rushed off way too quickly once he got the form and didn't even bother to train it in terms of its stamina. He was already more powerful than Goku. However, the fact that he couldn't keep that power going for a very long period of time, kind of like what happened on Namek, except to an even more extreme level with his 100% form, kind of made it where he eventually lost the fight because he just couldn't maintain that level of power, to where he punched Goku in the face and it didn't even do anything at that point. So really not training that form, being way too brash and rash, is really what kind of sent Frieza to his doom. But coming up next on this list is really another one that he kind of messed up in a big way, and that is when he didn't make sure that he finished the job with the Saiyans. Now let's think about this. Frieza blew up Planet Vegeta in large part because he was afraid of the Super Saiyan and of the possibility of all the Saiyans growing so powerful and basically rebelling against them. So that, combined with the fact that Beerus kind of ordered the destruction of the planet, led him to end their race, except for basically a handful of them. You had Vegeta, the prince of all Saiyans, who he kept alive and who was the strongest Saiyan at the time. You also had Raditz, Nappa, and of course Goku, the one who eventually defeated him, and of course Vegeta's son, Trunks, was the one who ensured that Frieza was killed in the first place. And really a lot of it came down to Goku meeting Frieza and combating him on Namek because of Vegeta going to the Earth with Nappa, which led to the death of many of the Z fighters and kind of engaged all of this. I mean, if Vegeta was killed by Frieza early on, Frieza never would have learned of immortality, which led him to his eventual doom at the hands of Goku and Trunks. So really just killing all the Saiyans when he had the chance, finishing off their race, or at least killing all of them except for Goku because he didn't really know about him, would have just saved him so much headache, and he probably would still be ruling the universe right now.
Yeah, I completely agree. He should have taken out the Saiyans when he had the chance, especially when you count the lineup. If you don't count Raditz, you have Nappa, who states in the manga he comes from a royal family, somebody who was handpicked to be, I guess, Vegeta's like assistant, I guess, and then you also have the Prince of Saiyan. So if he still had it in his head that one day a Saiyan could grow stronger than him, he should have taken those two out, because of the amount of battles, the amount of traveling throughout the universes, and the stuff that they were getting into. Who knows how strong they could have become on their own, you know?
Absolutely. So what's the next one on this list, MJ?
Never training until he died. Now we know that Frieza pretty much never trained. This was stated in the ROF arc. However, there is that line, I mean, some people call it contrived, some people say it doesn't make much sense, but it's the line when Frieza says that this is the first time that he mentioned this, and it's actually in the manga as well, and it is that he has to dust himself off when he fights Goku. Now, the first person to make him do that was King Cold, which is a bit weird. I'm not too sure if it really contradicts ROF. We don't know if he was doing like hardcore training, but we do know from the ROF statement that he's never trained before. He was just born with an immensely high power level. But Mike, I feel like if he did train, or he at least kept up and polished his skills and power, he could have been really, really strong. And plus, I mean, it would have just saved him a headache from ever having to worry about anybody coming up against him. Obviously, we know Beerus was out there, but I don't think any amount of training he could have done probably could have get him up to Beerus level, since Beerus has, I guess, quote unquote plot power, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, considering how powerful Frieza got just by training for 4 months, I mean, imagine if Frieza had just done light training for all those years up until Goku faced him. I mean, his 100% would have been so, like, minuscule by comparison to what he eventually would have had with all that power, that he could have just effortlessly destroyed Goku even as a Super Saiyan with less than 1% of his power, especially considering how he was able to beat up Super Saiyan Blue Goku, who is so many times more powerful than he was on Namek. So that was another really big mistake. And the next one, MJ, is one that we've talked about a lot off the air over time, and one that I think is really a huge mistake that Frieza made, which is why it's going to be the second and last one we're discussing, and that is
Frieza not blowing up planet Earth from space when his father King Cold recommended it. Now, Frieza was pretty much given a second chance at life. The doctors found him, they used new technology, and they pretty much made Mecha Frieza, if you want to call him that, and basically Frieza and his father show up for revenge, and King Cold recommends it's such a small planet, why not just bust the planet right now, or blow up the planet from where we're at? And Frieza says no, because, that's too easy, he wants to take care of it with his bare hands, blah blah blah. But look what happened to him. He was wrecked, he was sliced, and he was blown away. And so was King Cold. King Cold basically died because of his son's mistake. They could have just blown the planet up and be done with it. Now, obviously, people are saying, well, there's strong people on the planet like Vegeta, Piccolo, and Trunks, but the fact of the matter is they would have died from, just being in space, so there you go.
Yeah, even in Dragon Ball Super, when Frieza blew up the Earth, when Vegeta was a Super Saiyan Blue, it wasn't the planet exploding that killed Vegeta, because you gotta remember, Frieza was in a really weakened state, he was cut into pieces, and he was already weakened before he got cut up at the hands of Goku during their fight and from his 100% form. And then after Goku blasted Frieza in the face, and the planet exploded, Frieza was still alive. So Vegeta wasn't killed by the explosion, he was killed because Saiyans cannot survive in the void of space, which is exactly what Frieza also said to Goku on Namek. He didn't mention oxygen in the Japanese or in the manga, he said you cannot survive in the void. So that really was a big mistake on Frieza's part. Now, there's a possibility that Goku could have met up with Frieza on another planet or something, but if he just shot from his ship like a blast at the Earth, it's not like Goku could go into space and stop the blast or anything, so it's a large possibility that he would have been able to succeed, and nobody really wouldn't have been able to stop him.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there.
So that leads into the final time that Frieza really messed up, and it's really the biggest mistake Frieza ever made, and I'm sure a lot of people already have guessed this, and that would have to be Frieza not just going full power right away on Namek. Now, of course, this was a big part of Frieza and a big flaw that was kind of demonstrated from the very beginning. Frieza just likes to screw with people. He holds back not only in his final form, but he uses additional forms to make himself weaker and weaker. Because the thing is, Frieza in just 530,000 is still able to dominate the entire universe. However, if Frieza had just not played around, if he had just gone all the way to his final form the second he saw Vegeta, Gohan, and Krillin, gaining power and coming to fight him, and they were all standing in front of him, he would have had no trouble whatsoever killing them all. And if he had just killed them super quickly instead of playing around, then when Piccolo showed up, he probably would have just killed Piccolo easily too, and he would have been able to go back to his ship, see Goku in the pod, and just vaporize Goku when he's still in the healing chamber. Chances are Goku would not have been healed at that point, considering how quickly he would have made work of everyone. They were stalling for a long period of time before Goku even got out. So I feel like that would have ensured that Frieza would have won one-sidedly in a massive domination, and he would have killed Goku, and he would have, again, still been living right now, ruling the universe with an iron fist, and all the Namekians would just be bye-bye, pretty much.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. If he had just went full power and destroyed everybody like Krillin, like Gohan, like Vegeta, and then obviously Piccolo and Goku later on, I mean, definitely, he would have just been living right now. There's no doubt about that, you know what I mean? Plus, this isn't a mistake or a time Frieza messed up that's just acknowledged by us. It was also acknowledged by the writers, because in both Dragon Ball Super and in the movie, Frieza just state that he's gonna power up to full power now. He's not gonna fight Goku, Vegeta in his, second, third, blah, blah, blah. He went straight to his final form or his birth form. So there you go. I mean, even the writers acknowledge this thing that Frieza did to mess himself up. He really did screw himself in that situation. If he had just went full power, he would have taken care of everything.
Exactly. So as you can see from this list, Frieza really made a lot of basic mistakes when you think about it. He didn't train, so he was lazy. He always held back to his lowest form to screw with people. He didn't just take other people who are clearly more intelligent than him, like his father's advice, and blow up the planet from outer space. He just kept saying, nah, I can do it myself. Don't worry about it. I could beat these Saiyans. I could beat the Super Saiyan. Oh, I powered up a little bit since I was on Namek. Clearly I could beat Goku even though he dominated me the entire fight. Frieza, time and time again, makes horrible decisions, and so that's why we had to do this 5 times Frieza messed up. However, I'm sure you guys can let us know down below in the comments section some other times that Frieza messed up, because it's a top 5, not a top every single time, so I guess you could let us know the other ones down below that we might have forgotten, or the ones that you feel we should have included on this list. Again, go over to Geeklist TV and check out his content. If you like this video, please drop a like as it helps this channel, and also subscribe so you could see more content like this in the future. And as I always say, stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future. Yeah, the muscular man with Frieza fucked up so many times, I can't even remember, because all the steroids have gone to my brain, blah, 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 blah.